Morning, Soto. You're being charged with possession of Xanax and BARS. I don't know what that is. What is
Bars.
Xanax bars, that's how they're referred to.
that? Xanax bars. All right. I understand you're eligible for pretrial service.
You're
Any
the only,
objection?
no objection. She has no priors. She's being charged per pill, which is improper. It should just be one count.
Ms. Soto, are you working?
Yes,
How much money are you making a week approximately?
approximately about $200 a week.
And do you own
$200
any
a week.
property value, a house, a car, bank account,
$800 a month.
significant amounts of jewelry?
Yes,
It's not a lot.
I own a lot of jewelry, all right, as
Okay.
well as
Oh, Go
a
ahead.
car.
Well, how much would you say your jewelry is worth? It's not a joke, you know. We are not in a club now.
Okay, but it's,
Well,
kind
you
of,
see,
you know,
we are
but
not in a, we are not
So
in a
she doesn't
club.
understand
Be
what the
serious
question
about
is.
it.
I'm serious about
Oh,
it.
you're
You
being
just
very
question-
made me
I
laugh.
see you're serious, all right.
Wait, can you pause
You
it?
just made me laugh. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's all right. How
Okay, so she doesn't understand what that question
Yeah.
is, right? Like, she's hearing
Yeah.
how much is your jewelry worth, and she's hearing like a, like I don't know, like probably not that much. That's what she's hearing, and that's what she thinks that she's conveying. What he's asking is how much is your net worth? Because he's asking your net worth in order to understand how much bail should be set at. Now, I should be clear, I don't believe bail should exist at all. But the premise of bail is that you are trying to get a reasonable understanding of the person's income and the person's net worth in order to understand how much money there has to be set aside while they're out of prison, while they're not sitting in a jailhouse prior to the actual hearing, right? That's the whole premise. So it's enough that you're going to have people come back. Now, it has been proven, there's the Bail Project, and the Bail Project has proven that in the case of the Bail Project, something like 96% of the people who they take out on the Bail Project who are not paying anything in terms of bail. The Bail Project is responsible for that entirely on its own. It's a nonprofit that people should give money to. But it's, it's very clear that bail is not necessary. It's been proven fiscally is not the reason that people go back to jail, go back to it, and it makes sense, right? Like there are a lot of reasons that you go back, primarily because your life is totally fucking ruined if you don't, right? So people do show up, broadly speaking, regardless of how high the bail is. But that's the premise of bail. That's the question he's asking. How much is your jewelry worth? And she doesn't understand the question. That's the context.
Yeah.
Play on. I'm sorry.
No worries.
serious, all right.
You just made me laugh. I apologize.
It's all right. How much is your jewelry worth?
It's worth a lot of money.
Like what?
Like
Which
Rick
she doesn't
Ross.
actually believe.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's a joke. It's not
Yeah.
worth a lot of money. It's a joke. It's not worth a lot of money.
It's worth
Ma'am?
money.
Have you had any kind of drugs in the last 24 hours?
Actually,
Which is ridiculous. She's been in a
no.
jailhouse for the last 24
Actually,
hours.
no.
Judge, I'll make it easy for the court, respectfully. I'll accept appointment at this time.
No, I'm going to appoint you because you own a lot of substantial amounts of jewelry. You can go and sell your jewelry for a
So
private attorney. What is his
could you
standard
pause it?
bond?
Could you pause it
It
again?
should be,
Ain't gonna
Yeah.
be no
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
a public attorney whose job is to defend people who don't have an attorney. This is a woman who doesn't have an attorney, and that's explicitly his job. He said, "Hey, I am a public attorney. I would like to be responsible for this woman because she's clearly an 18-year-old kid who doesn't understand what she's doing, and she's clearly flubbing up right now, and she doesn't get that she's flubbing up
Yeah.
right now. But I do get that she's flubbing up because that's my job to understand, and I want to defend her." And he says, "No, we're doing fine. We don't need a public attorney here," which is insane. Absolutely insane. You don't get to say that to a public attorney. Ever. Wildly inappropriate.
And also that she can like sell her jewelry to buy a private attorney. It's like,
Yeah. The idea, yeah.
Okay.
Insanity.
hey, my guy.
Okay. Continue.
All right, we're keeping going.
ATS.
okay, 5,000 on count one, and then the rest should be ROR.
$5,000. She's making $800 a month.
Adios.
$800 a
Yeah.
month. Bail is being set at $5,000. Keep in mind, this is all for possession of Xanax bars. Xanax.
Yeah.
Like, Xanax shouldn't be illegal. But if it's going to be illegal, it shouldn't be $5,000 illegal on bail. She hasn't even been proven
Right.
guilty yet, right? We're not even at that point. It's a question of whether or not she's a threat to society. society and whether or not she should be able to go home and do her job and be with her family. That's the question. And his response is $5,000. That's literally more than 6 months of her life right there. She's paying $800 a month, right? $5,000 to get out on bail. Insanity. That's the first thing. She thinks that's a ridiculous thing. She's right that that's ridiculous. And she says adios in a little bit of a shitty attitude, right? Okay. Carry on. I'm sorry.
Come back, ma'am. Come back. Come back. Give me the paper again. Count one will be 10,000.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Adios.
Yeah.
Why?
Kind of fucked.
Did she all of a sudden become more of a threat to society? Yeah. Did her economic situation all of a sudden change? Or are you just being an asshole? Like, it's very explicit
his little ego was hurt.
That's exclusively that she said adios in a way that you don't like, and your response is, fuck you. You have to pay literally another 6 months' salary to get out on bail. Insane. So that's the first of his. I shouldn't say the first of his misconducts, because the relationship that he had there with the defense was insane as well, with the attorney. Yeah. I mean that's insane there. But beyond that, here, like, no, you don't get to do what he just did there. Okay. So that's the first thing that he does. But trust me, it's not over.
Come back again. Come back again.
Warranted. What she said there is warranted.
Bring her back again.
Yeah.
What's up?
I believe I heard you saying to...
Yes, I did. I'm not going to the...
I believe you... Did you say...
Yes,
me?
actually, I
Did you say that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Oh, you did say that?
I'm not
I find you in
gonna lie.
direct criminal contempt. 30 days in the county
Criminal
jail.
contempt. Okay, pause it again. Pause it again.
30 days in the county jail.
Criminal contempt.
Yeah.
Contempt of court. Now, contempt of court means you're getting in the way of the ability of the judge to do his job. How the fuck is she, when his job is over, saying you're an asshole when he's being a fucking asshole? Contempt of court. Contempt of court does not just mean you're being rude. It means you're stopping the ability of the court to do its job. And he is literally just said that because you told me to fuck off for being a piece of shit and making you, instead of paying 6 months salary for not even being proven, right? But out on bail, to get out on bail, you have to pay 6 months salary, which admittedly you're going to get back. That is how bail works. You're going to get it back. But still, right? You have to save up 6 months salary in order to be able to walk free, even though you're clearly not a threat to society at any level, right? And that's the first thing. Then he says 10,000 because she said adios in a rude way, because she literally said goodbye in a way that he didn't approve of, right? And then after that, he's decided that you deserve to rot in a fucking jail cell for 30 days, for a month, for telling him off when he did something that's wildly inappropriate. I can't imagine anyone doing something that is so clear-cut and so obviously an abuse of power as this right here. But it's gone viral because people think that he's cool for doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So, okay, there's two directions.
Is...
That's why this has 285,000 views. Yeah. If we scroll down here,
because I noticed it from like 2013.
If we scroll down here, there's also a CNN thing that I sent you. But he realized zero tolerance for nonsense ever since he had to shut down Jurassic Park. She went on Rick Ross to Crybaby real quick. All of this is against her. She learned real quick what happens when you try to get cute with a judge. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry. It's not illegal to be an asshole. Was she being a bit of a
Yeah.
shithead? Yeah, she was being a shithead.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that she should rot in a fucking jail cell for a month. It's not illegal
Yeah.
to be a shithead.
Yeah.
It's just not. And,
No.
So, okay, all of that is context. Now we need to watch the apology. Because she's forced to apologize for this shit in court. His court. Right? He's kept on the case after this. He's kept on the case. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay.
30 days in the county jail.
Right, I believe that she is represented by the public defender. I don't know if there needs to be-
It's not being represented by the public defender.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Okay, pause
point
again.
of contempt matter.
Pause again.
Without credit time, sir.
Okay, so that woman, I believe, is the prosecution. But even the prosecution recognizes that the public defender in this situation is like not doing his job. This is a woman who like wasn't provided a public defender up until this point. This guy's the public defender. He's about to do the bare fucking minimum he could possibly do in this situation, right? But he is about like the prosecution, the woman who is responsible for keeping this girl in jail. The prosecution is saying, "Hey, judge, like I believe that you're not talking to the public defender. The public defender matters here. Hey, public defender, do your fucking job," even though it's explicitly antagonistic to her job. That's what's just happened here. Now the public defender is about to talk. Okay, go for it. I'm sorry.
Mr. Snyder, when you tell the court in open court, you, I mean, that's criminal contempt.
Judge, I'm just asking if Your Honor would consider appointment, that's all I'm asking.
I'll appoint you.
I'm sorry?
To appoint you.
Respectfully, Your Honor, and I heard exactly what Your Honor heard, and I don't think Your Honor is deserving of any comments, any negative comments.
He was.
And Your Honor knows that.
I just wanted to say he was. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you pause. My fault.
No.
Faith, there are obviously some issues here that are going on, and I just feel respectfully.
Is he crying? Is the judge crying right now?
Had not taken place as far as.
Yeah, I think so.
And contempt.
How the fuck is this guy a fucking
That's
like?
Your Honor, going to appoint us on the felony case as well, or we're not appointing.
Like, are you kidding me? How old is this man? She's 18. She's here on a Xanax bar. And this girl, you just sentenced her to a month in jail when she hasn't committed a crime that's been proven in the court of law. But you sentenced her to, because she told you to fuck off for making her pay a year's salary. What the fuck? And you're the one crying? Are you kidding me? It's insane. And this guy is like the public defender here is like, hey, listen, man, you're doing something that is insane. But the entire courtroom here is watching this like a soap opera. Like there's no actual consequences. Like there's no actual human being who's going to be forced to rot in jail for a month because of this. And this guy, this judge is like, all right, fine, you can like defend her. Sure, I'll listen to you for half a second. But also like, fuck off. I've already made my decision that she's going to rot in jail for a month because she can't pay $10,000 bail on top of the month. Yeah. She's going to spend even more time in jail, right? Even though she hasn't been proven guilty of a crime yet, because, and also before this, she was defending herself, which is insane. Like everything about this was insanity. But it's so not over. I'm sorry. I'm slowing us down. We need to get through this. I apologize. Continue it.
We're not appointed on that.
I'm appointing you for the contempt.
Nick Manette.
Just the defendant herself would like to make a public apology to the court.
After rotting in jail for 30 days.
Ill-advised, inconsiderate.
This is 30 days later?
Yeah.
At the time of the bond hearing.
I hope that you do realize, as I said before, that what you did with the flipping on the finger and what you said is contemptuous behavior. Do you understand that?
understand completely, and I apologize.
And I hope you understand that
Same judge.
Yeah.
because of that, you could be found in criminal contempt of court. And as I told you before, if I were to do that, you are going to become a convicted felon for the rest of your life.
Convicted
Yes.
felon.
And
Yeah.
you understand that convicted felons have a very difficult time in life. Understand that? Difficult to
Yes.
get a job, difficult to maintain a job. Very difficult time. You understand that? Yes?
Yes.
You understand that if you were to say to your boss in place of employment, what you said to me, you more than likely will be fired. Do you understand that? Yes?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Can we pause that for a second? I'm sorry.
If you were to use that type of language or any other type of
Just a quick pause.
with your school teachers,
Okay. Number one, this is just
Yeah.
let's just keep in mind this is her entire family here in tears. Her entire family in tears because this is a girl who a month of her life has already been stolen from her because she told some asshole to fuck off after he told her that she was going to rot in jail because he didn't like her comments about jewelry, right? So that's the first step. Right? So she said that, and so she's, because of that, been forced to rot in jail already going into this conversation for a month of her life that was stolen from her that she will never get back because of this piece of shit that doesn't belong on the bench, right? That's the first thing that's going on. Then after that, he's threatening to make her a fucking felon for that when she's, keep in mind, here because she had Xanax. Because she had a Xanax bar. All of this is over a Xanax bar, and he's threatening to make her a felon, and then he has the audacity to say, if you told your boss to fuck off, he'd fire you. Sweetheart, getting fired, I'm sorry, when you're making $200 a month, okay? Or excuse me, $200 a week, $800 a month. I don't want to exaggerate. When you're making $800 a month, okay, and you tell your boss to fuck off, first of all, let's be honest, a lot of places like McDonald's probably wouldn't fire you for that. But maybe some would, right? Depending on the boss and depending on how easy it is to replace you. Potentially they fire for that. Are you genuinely suggesting that making a person a fucking felon is the same as firing them from their job? And are you genuinely saying that we have a responsibility as American citizens to relate to you as a judge in the same way that we relate to an employer? Are you kidding me? The insanity is just, there's so many layers of wild misconduct. But the public reaction to this is this like false form of like, oh, let's be tough on crime. And it's just, it's so upsetting that when you look at this comment section, and that CNN did a whole video on this as well, which I sent you. But like the CNN thing is also just like, haha, she got what she deserved. This judge deserves a gold medal for trying here's this comment.
God.
This 42 likes. This judge deserves a gold medal for threatening to make a child, an 18-year-old child, a felon for the rest of her life for telling him to fuck off.
Yeah. That's kind of ridiculous.
I just think that this is I know this is from 2013. It's not like it happened yesterday. But I just feel at some level this is like representative of a real problem that we have as a country in our relation to criminal justice.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, because you see videos like these and they're represented as like bad people and misfits that have to be like corrected.
Yeah, you gotta whip her into shape. You gotta make her a fucking felon for the rest of her life to whip her into shape because she said fuck you to an asshole who was being a dickhead.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yes. The fact that you're a guy in a position of power does not mean that you're immune to being an asshole. It does not mean that you're like immune. Like, yeah, absolutely. That guy's a piece of shit. That guy, frankly, doesn't belong on the bench. That guy should get fired for what he did. Did he get fired? Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't.
No. But yeah, I mean, like that's really ridiculous. How do we change it? How do we change the way that we look at?
Well, so
like,
yeah, I just feel like there's a
because I feel like there's a lot of like crime that's not actual crime, and it's like, look at these like people of color. It's like she's like Spanish.
Yeah, she's Hispanic. The fact that she said adios, not goodbye,
or
is
like
part of this.
Latinx or whatever.
Whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Yeah. That's a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah. And she's like, if this was a white person who got caught with some Xanax, they'd get like a slap on the wrist. But like, she's going to jail because like, yeah. I don't know. I didn't like. It's a problem. It's a real issue.
I just don't know how, because the problem is that I feel like people, it's not, so okay, I understand like systemically why people in positions like judge have power over people, but there's a sense in which people, like society revels in that in a really weird and like gross way. Like, yes, when you're in line to get into the airport, right? And like the guy is checking your passport. Does that guy have power over you? Of course he does, right? Of course he does. Can he make you miss your flight? Yes, right? But like, should they? Right? Do we feel like it's a morally acceptable thing for that to happen? Like, it has happened to me. My grandfather was, a very loud and well-meaning, but a bit of a troublemaker as a guy. And he once there was a long line, and this one particular person was taking a long time to finish getting through the passports, and he clapped, which is a dick move, right? It's a dick move. He was also like 85 at the time, but he did a dick move, and he was 85. And he clapped for when it was over. And then the guy stared at him, right? Took us out of line. There were like 5 people ahead of us in line. Said, "Come to the front. I want to do yours." He gave us like this was for with me and my grandfather and my mother. There were a bunch of people on this coming on this flight, right? And he pulled us all out of line, and he said, "Okay, all of you are going to get this stamp of disapproval." And we all got this extra check, right? Because he decided to make us get this extra check. And the result was that we all missed the flight, right? Because my grandfather was being a bit of a dick. Now, yes, my grandfather was being a dick, but we shouldn't revel in that as a response by people in a position of authority. We shouldn't, and like, that's such a small level, right? Comparative to making someone a literal felon because she said fuck you after you made her pay, tried to make her pay, which she obviously can't, a year's salary, right? But like, I just don't know how we convince society to recognize that, like, that's not good. It's a thing. You shouldn't say, like, yeah, you should say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, to the police officer. You should be extraordinarily polite to the police officer, but it's not good. It's not like a good thing that that's true of our society. It's just like a reality.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably not good that it is the reality.
Like, yeah.
Just because it just, like, feeds into the power dynamic and feeds into, like, the power structure.
Like, this judge genuinely believes that what he did is not only acceptable, but morally correct. He thinks that he's teaching this girl a lesson by threatening to make her a fucking felon by being, because she said adios in a way he didn't like.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
So I'm worried for our country. Bail shouldn't be a thing. Everyone should give money to the Bail Project. The Bail Project is great. I think we'll link the Bail Project below. And like and subscribe. We adore all of you. Yeah. Except for that fucking judge. That judge is going to rot in hell. Any other last thoughts? Adios.